Slimehouse TV, myself Theo Kane, welcome to Toy Talk Tuesday. I'm going to make Toy Talk Tuesday a thing from now on. I'm going to try anyway. This is all figured out, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about a subject that one of you viewers put to me, because what I've been doing is on my Instagram and on YouTube, I've been asking you people that watch the show to give me subjects that we can talk about in this new Toy Talk show. So today's question, and just before I get to it, remember I want to hear your subjects, so let me know in the comments below, let me know over on Instagram at Theo_Kane_Slimehouse. I've covered a lot, I've got a lot to cover, but I always need more, so please let me know your Toy Talk subjects and we'll do them on Toy Talk Tuesday. Okay, so this is a really good question, and it came from a guy on YouTube called Jonathan Nicholls, and he says, in my 25 years of collecting, I have struggled with points in my life where my collection overwhelmed and stressed me. It has become a large amount of toys, so I decided to sell a few things to alleviate the overwhelming feeling. The money was nice, but I almost instantly regretted the sell. There is no way to display the entire collection, so I have many toys stored in totes/bins. How do you decide what to keep and what to sell? How do you store the undisplayed toys? I haven't let my collection take over my entire home. I try to keep it confined to my basement. Is it time to put toys in every room? Have you ever sold and regretted it and then, like me, buy it back again? So, he's basically asking, how do we prevent our collection from overwhelming us, which I'm sure if you're a collector and you've got a big collection like me, then that is definitely a thing that can happen sometimes. And then at what point do you sell stuff, and then when you regret it, what point do you start buying it back? Do you let it consume your whole house? Do you confine it to one room? And I suppose it all comes down to how you personally deal with your toy collecting drug. And I suppose for many of us it is like an addiction. It's almost like an addiction that for some people like me, it's just full on, it never stops. And then there's other people that they jump in and out of it and that kind of thing. And I think I personally deal with mine in a good way, because I'm very OCD with displaying and things like that. I don't like my stuff messy. If my stuff ever looks cluttered, then I declutter it. I'll put it in boxes in storage for a bit. I'll look at it sometimes and think, do I really want that? Do I want that? Will someone else want it more? Could I sell those 10 things and then get the money to buy one big thing that I've wanted for a long time and stuff like that? So I really always make sure that mine doesn't overwhelm me anymore. But there has been times years ago where it really did like become a lot. So this room that I'm in now was once a toy room with these Detolf cabinets, wall to wall. I think there was like 14 of them, just wall to wall, and it was just a display room. There was no desk in it and computer, and now I use it as my office, but back then you would literally just walk into it and it was just an awesome display room, but you would walk in, look at the stuff and walk out. And it got to a point where I literally had one of the biggest toy collections in England, because I had everything. I had every Power Ranger, every Zord, every Biker Mice figure, every Street Shark. I had tons of Jurassic Park. I had everything. I had it all displayed, and it did get to a point where it's like, oh, what am I doing with all this stuff? Why do I need it all? And like I've spoke about lots of times, I've always collected in some form, but about 15 years ago I decided to like get a lot of my old toys back that I had as a kid and started retro toy buying. And this is a time when car boots were rife with it, so you could get so much. So I was getting everything. Every week I was coming back with like 4 stacker boxes just full of retro toys, and at this point I weren't doing toy fairs or anything like that. I was just collecting for myself. So I was getting it all and getting it with all the parts and fixing it up, and then I'd end up with doubles and stuff like that. So they'd go in storage and things, and I did get to a point where I had so much, so I started doing toy fairs. I also got a unit in a vintage centre and sold a lot that way and slowly thinned it out. But I've still got loads of stuff in storage, stuff that I'm not even bothered about. I've just got it because it's in storage, and at some point I'll sell it. So before I do like a big trip to Japan or America, I'll usually sell a bunch of stuff on eBay and toy fairs and stuff like that to get a load of spending money together so that I can take it on my trip. So I've always got that collateral there. I've always got that plastic collateral, but it's very much in storage. I just have the stuff out displayed that I like. Ideally, my toy room would be twice the size, and I could have a lot more displayed, but because I can't, I have to have quite a bit in storage. But the good thing about me is that I don't just have a toy room, I have a house where I can have stuff displayed all over, but I also don't let it consume my house. I don't want every wall in my house to have shelves on with just stuff thrown on it, because it just becomes one big mess. You can't appreciate anything on its singularity. All you want to do, you just look at a big wall of stuff and it becomes overwhelming to even look at, and you can't appreciate anything on its singular value. So I like to have lots of big movie posters and stuff on my wall, like big gap fillers, and I've got a couple of displays of toys in my house. I have like my toy room display. I have a couple of cool ones in my bedroom, and then downstairs in my dining room I have an old bowling alley table that was taken out of an old 80s bowling alley, so that's a really cool table. And next to that is like a big display with a lot of my Japanese toys and stuff like that. And then I've got other bits dotted around the house, but it's all very organized and very coordinated. The way I think to deal with it is just see what do you really want, and if you've got a load of stuff that you don't want, then do sell it, but don't always sell it and then buy something that you're just gonna piss away. I wouldn't sell all this stuff and buy a PS5, because in a few years you'll be able to get a PS5 for half the price. Maybe you won't be able to yet because they're really hard to come by and stuff, but in theory I wouldn't buy them. I wouldn't sell toys to buy a games console, because that stuff goes down in price, whereas this stuff goes up in price. So I would only sell my toys to buy more stuff, or to take a trip to buy more stuff, or to film stuff, or to put it into a film that I was creating. Or like when I bought my camera, this camera that I film all my stuff on, that was me selling a load of toys to buy something that I'll use for a long time. So I don't think there's anything wrong with selling a load of your toys that are overwhelming you, that you're not that bothered about, and just buying one cool toy. And those 4 shelves that were full of shit, you can buy one cool thing and put that on the shelf. So it's just about personal discipline. It's about being disciplined with your collection, and you being the master of your collection and not letting the collection become the master of you. So then when it comes to selling stuff that you regret, there is some stuff that I've sold that I regret. One, because there was stuff like the Power Rangers, all the Biker Mice, all the Street Sharks that I kind of wish I would have done a Slime House episode on them. But then I would have filmed them all and fell back in love with them, because that's what I did with the Mighty Max figures. I got rid of lots of Mighty Max years ago when they was not really hard to come by or worth much, and I just kept a few select ones that I had as a kid. And then when I did the video on them and I acquired a load more and borrowed a load, then I'm like, oh, I fully love Mighty Max, and then now I want them all back. So that's another thing that happens when you're a collector of anything. You put stuff in storage and then you're like, I'm going to sell that, and then you get it out and you start taking pictures to sell it, and you think, oh, do you know what, I don't want to sell these anymore. You fall back in love with this stuff. So it is really hard, and again, it's just about being disciplined and also forward thinking, which is again hard. And this is an episode I want to get to another episode, another subject I want to talk about, when I talk about figures that go up in value that you didn't expect them to. I've never sold anything that I really, really wanted and I knew I would never get again. I've only sold stuff that I knew if I ever wanted it back, I could get it back. I used to have every single kind of Star Wars figure. I mean, every single one, like Yak Face, Alamalaman, Amalamaman, whatever he's called, all that stuff. I had it all, and I sold like 90% of them because I like them, they're really cool, but I've seen them 1,000 times, and if I wanted to get every kind of Star Wars figure again, yes, I would have to pay through the nose, but in theory, I could get them back. I won't ever sell something that I'm pretty confident I won't be able to get again easy. So I think that's also a good thing to go by. If you don't mind spending a bit of money on it to get it back, and you can let it go because you need to thin your collection out, or you need to pay for something like a new boiler or some shitty life shit, then you all always do have to make that decision. I hope that answered the question right. I'd love to know what you people think about this, because it is something that's it really is a big deal to toy collectors, how we display our stuff, how we go about choosing what to display, what we put in storage, what we sell on when it's starting to consumers, which it all does, but you just have to be disciplined with it. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Toy Talk Tuesday. Hopefully this has dropped on a Tuesday, because I want to try and keep up that regularity so that you wake up in the morning on a Tuesday and you're thinking, what day is it? It's Tuesday. Oh yeah, man, Toy Talk Tuesday, that's me later after work. So that's what I want to try and do with these episodes. So again, if there's any subjects that you want to see me cover on Toy Talk Tuesday, let me know in the comments below. And also, I want to know your opinions on today's topic of discussion, so let me know those in the comments below as well. Also, like I said, this year I'm really pushing the Patreon, so if you want to help support what I'm doing, head over to patreon.com/SlimeHouseTV, and for as little as $1 a month, you can become a Slime Renegade. Help me keep making these videos as regular as possible and help make Slime House bigger and better than ever. With all that said, I'm Theo Kane. I'm going to catch you in the next video. Until then, I'm gone. Pow!